Cool. Thank you, Amanda, and thank you, everybody. Welcome to the November edition of Check It Out. We are so excited to have you here today. We've got lots of different books coming your way. Um, Today, our plan is this. We're going to cover some storytime standouts. For those of you that are new, you're probably like, what the heck are storytime standouts? Simply put, these are the best books to use for story times. I'll cover some second and third grade books, a couple of early readers, picture books, and board books. There were a lot of children's nonfiction books that are out, and I wanted to make sure to get those on your radar. So we do have a good list of children's nonfiction books to cover this month. We got a couple of middle grade fiction titles, graphic novels, what I'm reading slash teen fiction, and then we'll cover, just to let you know, some upcoming events and also have our giveaway time. I'm seeing a lot of people this morning. Good morning, everybody. Wow. Thank you for saying good morning in the chat. For those of you that are new to Library Land and new to check it out, I want to extend a warm welcome to you. My name is Janeé Jackson-Doering. I'm the Youth Services Consultant with the State Library of Iowa. Down below is my contact information. You can reach me by phone or email. Please reach out. I love to hear from you. If you have any youth-related questions, issues, or collections, or collection questions, or reading questions, please reach out. I would love to come visit your library. And a lot of people that have seen me know that when I come to visit, I bring a goodie bag of books for you to keep. And I've been to 91 libraries so far in my 3-year tenure. So I've got a long ways to go, but I would love to come visit your library. So please reach out. And some of the things that brought me joy this month, there are a couple things. On Sunday, my husband and I, we went to go see Wicked for Good. It was amazing. I've seen the musical. I loved the musical. The movie was just as outstanding as the musical. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My husband's not big on musicals, but he did enjoy it as well. So there was that. And anybody that knows me, they know I love pens. I am a sucker for a really nice working good pen, and I love fountain pens. And so I've been shopping for Black Friday stuff, and I came across these pens, and I'm like, ooh. I really want to use these pens. So I have a new set of fountain pens. These are really cool. I love the way they write. They don't bleed through the paper because that's one of my big pet peeves is when you get a pen and they don't, and they bleed through the paper. But I really like these pens. They're very smooth writing and they're just a lot of fun. And the other thing that brought me joy this month is we have our house, the outside of our house remodeled. So we got a new roof, new siding, new gutters, gutter guards, the whole 9 yards. So I'm so happy that that brought me gratitude and joy. So I hope throughout this busy time in our lives, I hope you take a moment to find something that brings you gratitude and joy. And Victoria says, nice pens really make me feel like a true professional. Yes, back to school sales get me every year. I agree. So I hope you find something that brings you joy this month. And just a quick reminder, just to let you know, check it out. This program spotlights a range of different books for readers ages 0 to 18. We review a lot of sources to bring you a variety of different titles. But remember, you know your collection best, you know your community best, and you are always the final decision maker on what new titles will work best for your library. So, with that, here we go. So, we're going to talk about storytime standouts, simply put, the best books to use for story times. So, we know next month is December. I put down in the very bottom corner some ideas for storytime themes for December. Snow. Snow is a great theme to use for December and talking about how snow falls, what makes up snow, how does snow melt? Snowmen, you can even talk about how to make a snowman. Winter, the whole winter season, what happens during winter time. And maybe you can do a theme about hibernating animals. What animals hibernate during winter? This book in particular would be great for a snow themed story time, whether it's for a preschool story time or a kindergarten school visit. This is called The Snowball Fight, and this is written by Ferry and illustrated by Tom Lichtenheld. And this was adorable. I love this book. It starts out with two kids that are cheering. Yay! Hooray! It's a snow day! So what do? They build a snow fort. Each of them have their snow forts and they start to pack their snowballs and throw snowballs at each other. And I love this second picture. It says, "Ha! You missed me by a lot." So they keep throwing and throwing snowballs at each other, just having a blast. But they start to get tired. Snowball arms begin to ache. Trusty forts begin to break. And the other thing that happens, a big, huge pile of snow from the roof also falls down on the kids. But don't worry, they're all okay. And as they get tired, they decide to also go inside for a lovely cup of hot chocolate. But I love this picture because it says, and in their mugs, there floats a clue of something they forgot to do. It's a great passage to ask the kids, what do you think they're going to do with those marshmallows? What do those marshmallows look like? And what do you think they forgot to do? You guys can answer in the chat. Looking at those marshmallows, what do you think they forgot to do outside? What do those marshmallows remind you of? A snowman, yes. They forgot to make a snowman. So at the end of the story, they go outside to make a snowman. This is a perfect rhyming book. The one vocabulary word that I noticed in this book was alabaster, which I was like, wow. So you can explain to kids what alabaster is. The pictures are active and interactive. They're fun. You could have kids pretend to throw snowballs. But this would be a fun story time for a snow themed story time for a preschool story time or an elementary school visit. The next book on the list is called The Greedy Wolf. This is written by Timothy Knapman and illustrated by Jean Julian. And this starts out with a greedy wolf. Once there was a wicked wolf who was so greedy that every day he would eat enough food for 10 birthday parties and still be hungry for more. One day he was on the prowl for dinner when he spotted 7 juicy little goats left at home alone. So the wolf goes up to the house because the mom goat says, "Hey, I'm going to go get dinner. You guys stay here at the house." The wolf disguises himself in several different types of disguises to trick the goats. And the goats are very clever. They notice that he's hungry. And so they invite the wolf in and say, "Hey, try my pizza, try my burger, try my French fries, try my snacks, try my cake." And they get the wolf so fat and so thick that he's full. But the goats and the mom goat, when she comes back, they turn the tables on this wolf and they go to try to eat him. This is funny. It's entertaining. This is a laugh out loud version of the classic fairy tale, The Wolf and the Seven Young Goats. This would be perfect for older kids. So think your elementary age, your first, second grades, and third grades and up. This was very engaging, very entertaining. So grab and take a peek at the greedy wolf. So we're going to move and switch gears to second and third grade books. Here we go. By the way, I forgot to mention this edition of Check It Out has a ton of series alerts. Series alerts are just alerts for you to make sure to get that book that's in a series in your cart and on your radar. So our first series alert is from the My Weirdtastic School series. This is Miss Sherman is Determined. This is book 9 in the series, and it's written by Dan Gutman and illustrated by Jim Palet. And the kids at elementary school, get it? Elementary school, super funny. They have a new teacher's aide, and her name is Miss Sherman. And the thing about Miss Sherman, she is obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with getting likes, clicks, and followers on social media. And AJ, he's kind of like the ringleader of this group. He notices that Miss Sherman, all she wants to do is just be on her phone and take little selfies and record things to get likes. And so Miss Sherman decides to take a video of AJ burping the alphabet while bouncing on a pogo stick onto bubble wrap. And so she puts it on social media and the video goes viral overnight. And so the kids want to help her keep this sudden newfound fame going. But AJ is starting to realize this has a downfall. When he goes to the mall with his mom and dad to buy a lawnmower, other kids and fans recognize him, and the crowd of kids go wild in the mall to see him. So this deals with social media, pitfalls of social media. Um, there are sayings that kids may ask you, what does that mean? What does it mean that you're nutty as a fruitcake? These books are known for having different sayings that like kids are like, what does that mean? It has repetitive sentences for those reluctant readers or for those readers that are struggling. Um, and they also have again, they have those situations where they're just slapstick. It's a lot of slapstick humor. There's a situation where one of the teacher's aide has to walk a tightrope, and she walks with bananas and doing wild pogo tricks on the pogo stick. Um, but for kids who love that slapstick humor and just silly situations, or if you have reluctant readers, you can recommend My Weirtastic School. Miss Sherman is determined. We have another series alert. And I've heard of Choose Your Adventure. This one is a brand new series. This is a choose your own adventure. So it's kind of for those second to third grade readers. And this is called Choose Your Own Adventure Bubble Town. This is written by Tamara Ellis Smith and illustrated by Maine Diaz. And this is about Stuart. Stuart is the new kid at school, but he doesn't like being the new kid at school. His classmates tease him. They tease Stuart because his grandfather is an inventor. And they call his grandfather Cuckoo because his grandfather, excuse me, is always making different inventions. When his grandfather puts a bottle of bubble juice inside Stuart's lunchbox with a note, if you're feeling lonely and blue, blow these bubbles to find something new. Stuart is kind of taken aback. He's like, I don't want to blow these bubbles. I don't know what's going to happen. And so, reluctantly, he does blow the bubbles, and he learns that when he blows the bubbles, he is able to talk to animals near the riverbank. He's able to talk to ducks and different types of animals, and the animals near the riverbank, they let Stewart know that that's their home, but their home is being threatened by developers. And one of the developers is the mom of Stewart's classmate, who is a bully to him, Micah. Micah treats Stewart she's basically a jerk, and the mom is no different. So kids have to read, or if they can choose from 9 different endings to see what happens to Stewart, his grandfather, and the animals along the riverbank. What I really appreciate about these books is that this book has large text and they have large font for kids to read, especially for those who have trouble finding their place. The illustrations are colorful, they're lively, and they add to the story. This is a short book, 90 pages. So again, kids can choose whatever endings they want. So that second picture down below, it shows you when the kids are reading at the bottom, it gives them directions. So if you go to more bubbles, turn to page 39. If you stay, you can turn to page 78. So this gives some kids autonomy and choice as to how they want to see the story go. And Jerry says, yes, the kids love this series this summer. It's easy. It's an easier read than the traditional choose your own adventures. I agree. Um, we have another series alert. This time, this is Bear and Bird, The Secret and Other Stories. This is written and illustrated by Jarvis. And this book has four gentle, funny stories. And this is the latest installment of this beginning chapter book series. Uh, my favorites were The List. The List is my favorite because Bird feels left out because Bear has given all of their friends a cute nickname to everyone except her, except for Bird. And she's relieved when her list of names for Bear doesn't reach him. So Bird gets mad. Bird gets mad because she doesn't have a nickname. And Bear has given everybody else a nickname except for her. And so she goes home and writes really mean nicknames for Bear. And one of them she calls the bear Stinky Sock Muffin. And she also wrote her grocery list at the same time while she's writing this naughty list to Bear. But Bear doesn't get the list. Bear gets something else. But meanwhile, the rabbit that went to go get groceries for Bird, Rabbit has the list of the mean, naughty words. Um, but this book has, like I said, four stories. They're very short, big text, so that way readers can see the text and the pictures, they accompany the text and they fit very well. Super cute, super gentle, super engaging stories for kids. So pick up Bear and Bird. All right. We have, oh, wait a minute. I think I might have, I didn't skip one. Never mind. I'm sorry. I've got myself mixed up. We're going to go to early readers this time. So here we go. We have another series alert. Oh my goodness, I put a lot in. This is Earl and Worm, Snow Problem, and Other Stories, written and illustrated by Greg Pizzoli. And in this installment of the Earl and Worm series, it is Earl's birthday. And Worm is very excited to celebrate with her lifelong friend. But even though Worm has found the perfect present and baked a delicious birthday cake for Earl, she worries that they won't be exactly what Earl wished for. So kids can read about their adventures with a snowy day together, and they can discover their friendship through these lovely pictures and lovely illustrations. This is a popular series for early readers, and Jonathan just got it today. That is awesome. But I love Greg Pizzoli's illustrations. Very fun, very cute, and clever. So grab Earl and Worm, Snow Problem, and Other Stories. And we have another series of work alert. This one is Cat and Mouse. Let's have a sleepover. This is book two from Selena Yoon, the writer and illustrator. And this is coming out on March 3rd, 2026. If you go to NetGalley.com has a preview of this book, so you can read the entire book on there for free. So if you get a chance, go, I'm going to type it in the chat. Go to netgalley.com. They have so many different galleys of books that you can read ahead of time before books are published. And in this edition of Cat and Mouse agree to have a sleepover. And they are so excited. They talk about all the things they need. I will need a sleeping bag for sleeping, and books for reading, and sheets to build a fort. I will need nachos for snacking, records for dancing. So they both have different things that they want to do. And no matter how hard they try, they just can't find an activity that both of them enjoy. Because all Mouse wants to do is read. But Cat is snacking on the nachos and it bothers Mouse so much. Mouse says, "You're too loud." And when Cat afterwards starts her record player and wants to throw a dance party, Mouse doesn't want to join in because Mouse says, "I don't dance." So after building their fort, the best friends finally find something to do. They put on a production of Cinderella, and Cat is able to dance, and Mouse is able to tell the story. But the fort Forts don't stay very well, and the fort falls on the friends, but it's okay because they're together and they're finding something they celebrate and enjoy with. Mouse's voice in the story is in green text bubbles, and Cat's voice is in pink speech bubbles. Some vocabulary words to consider when reading this are narrator, bell, and lantern. So that those are some vocabulary words that kids can point out and caregivers can point out to kids. But this is a fun, colorful, simple early reader for kids that are just starting to learn or wanting to improve their reading skills. So take a peek at Cat and Mouse. Let's have a sleepover. All right, we're going to move and go to picture books and board books. Here we go. The first book on the list is Broken. This is written and illustrated by X Fang, and I loved this. This received starred reviews in School Library Journal, Shelf Awareness, the New York Public Library's Best Illustrated Children's Book of 2025. This is a delight. The book starts out with, "Let me tell you the story of the day I broke Amma's cup." So, May May is a young girl who is visiting her grandmother. And she says, "I was at her house and I was bored. So naturally, throughout the top picture, I decided to scare her cat, Mimi. And so she scares the cat and says, 'Boo!' But when I jumped out, I bumped into the side table. Alma's cup flew up, then down, down, down until crash. So she accidentally breaks the cup. And so she runs out of the house and she says she's convinced it's the end of the world. What if Amma is angry? What if she yells? What if she kicks Maymay out of the house and Maymay can't face it? And so when Mimi witnesses what happened, Amma picks up the cat and says, "Mimi, you naughty cat," Amma said. "You broke my cup." And I love this bottom spread because Mimi stared at Maymay and I just love the image. And it says Mimi knew the truth. Mimi was taking the blame. So Maymay has these big feelings of hiding what she did until finally she can't take it anymore and she confesses that she broke the cup. And Amma, being a gentle lady, together they both grab the cup and put it back together and they have a cup of tea together. Um, but this talks about telling the truth. It talks about lying and what happens when you lie. But this is a beautifully illustrated book. Take a peek for yourself. And I love this cat. I love the expression of the cat. But take a peek when you get a chance at Broken. The next book is called Moon Song. This is written and illustrated by Michaela Goad. This received starred reviews in School Library Journal, The Horn Book, Booklist, and Kirkus. And this picture book is gorgeous. She just has such beautiful artwork. But this book discusses about the joys and wonders of winter. And Michaela Goad is a Caldecott medalist. She is the author and illustrator of the book Berry Song. And this is about a young girl who tells her cousin a story about the dark and how there's nothing to be afraid of during the winter time. This is filled with pinks, greens, blues, and purple cool tones. And her illustrations just make this book stand out. And it starts out with, "On an island at the edge of a shimmering sea, my family and I follow the light." And so at night, the family gets together and the young girl tells the story about how there's nothing to be afraid of in the dark during wintertime. Um, this is just filled with sparkle and magic. I'm going to show you some more scenes real quick, but I love the picture of the Northern Lights. But just look at that imagery. And at the bottom spread, I love how she's showing the animals that are hibernating in winter underground. Um, beautifully illustrated, beautifully well done. This is an inviting stunner for winter. So take a peek if you get the chance. The next book, this is for fans of the popular Miss Rachel YouTube videos and on the Netflix show. If you've got fans of Miss Rachel, they'll rejoice for this new bedtime book for kiddos. This is Miss Rachel and Bean and the Bedtime Routine. This is written by Miss Rachel and Mr. Aaron and illustrated by Monique Dong. In the book, Miss Rachel is getting Bean ready for bed. She says, "Hi, friends. Can you help me put Bean to bed?" Bean had a great day, but now he needs to rest. Why do we need rest? So that we have energy to play tomorrow. I really like how she explains that to kids in a very simple way of understanding why we need rest. So she has a routine, and at that bottom picture, you see that she has a routine for her and Bean. So first, they put away toys. Next, they have bath time and pajama time. And then Bean brushes his teeth and flosses and uses the potty. And then finally, Miss Rachel and Bean, they read a bedtime story together. And there's a story within the story, which I find very cool. And it's a pull-out spread. And together they sing a song. I really appreciate that this book in the back has bedtime routine tips for parents and caregivers. And she partnered up with a child psychologist to help with that. So there's tips for caregivers on how to establish a bedtime routine and what to do if you get off track from that routine. This is very interactive, very engaging, very colorful. So if you got fans of Miss Rachel, you want to get this on your shelves. And we've got some board books to share as well. The first book is called Frog and Toad Two Together. This is written and illustrated by Arnold Lobel. Now, when I got a hold of this book, my first impression, the board book pages are very thick and they're very sturdy. I mean, how many times have you had a board book and you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to hold? This board book will hold. I mean, I was impressed with those sturdy pages. This is a sweet introduction to preschoolers new to Frog and Toad. Each spread has one simple sentence. The book shows Frog and Toad being friends while swimming together, fishing, eating a jar of cookies together, painting. This is adorable, and it's perfect for preschoolers and kindergartners learning to read. But it says two fun friends, two funny friends, and two friends together. But again, I was so impressed with the thick sturdiness of this board book. Um, but grab Frog and Toad two together. And yes, Erica, I like Frog and Toad too. The next book is called Barn and Fall, Festival Fun on the Farm. This is written by Griffith and illustrated by Taya Morley. This is a delightful rhyming board book that shows that autumn has come to the farm and the barn is opening her doors to young guests for those for a festival. So it shows kids choosing pumpkins, picking apples, going on hay rides, and it shows lots of love to all the farm animals during the fall festival. Barn feels the breeze, crispy and cool. Buses bounce past to and from school. The board pages are, yes, very sturdy again. The illustrations are gorgeous. They are chocked full with autumn tones of red, green, and orange, and all those fall colors. This would be a perfect read for an autumn themed story time or a fall festival story time if you're having a fall festival. Yes. And Mallory says, yes, so the whole series Barn All Year is so cute. So here's some more pictures. It's just gorgeous. And I love the image of the animals resting. It says, when it's time for goodbye to Fall Festival Day, animals nestle in soft beds of hay. Snuggled together, barn hugs them all tight. Just super beautiful, super engaging. The next set of board books are written by Kara Goodwin. And this, I know you have caregivers that are struggling with kids who are hitting or biting, toddlers or preschoolers that are hitting or biting. Um, I saw these two books and I thought these should be on your radar. This is What to Do When You Feel Like Biting and What to Do When You Feel Like Hitting. I like these board books because they offer age appropriate language to explain why hitting or biting is not okay, but it's told in a positive way. Each book has 1 to 2 sentences per spread, and the artwork shows all different kinds of children. Kara is a child psychologist and a parent expert. So with biting that book, it acts to their feelings with actions that are empathetic and safe and kind. The text says, every day you are learning more about your feelings. You are learning that all children feel happy, sad, scared, and mad sometimes. You cannot bite other people. Biting hurts and it is not safe. Kara encourages kids to use their words to ask for what they want or ask for a grown up to help. If they feel mad, but maybe they bite into a safe object, such as a teething ring or a crunchy snack. There's tips for caregivers on what to do for biters as well in the back of this book. With the hitting book explains in a kid-friendly text why hitting is not okay and offers safe actions to prevent kids from hitting that are safe and kind to others and themselves. The text says, when you feel like hitting, you can tell a grown-up, I feel mad or I feel sad. It is always okay to have those feelings. So kids are encouraged to go to a calm space, a calm down space with maybe you have a safe space with a bear and a pillow and a blanket to help calm themselves down. Other tips she recommends is to draw an angry picture, having breathing exercises with their hands on their tummy, or to squeeze their hands into fists. She says, use gentle hands to show others how you feel. You can use your hands for many things, but you cannot use them for hitting. These are well done books. Again, there's tips included for caregivers in the back of this book as well. So these are books definitely to check out. And if you need some more nursery rhymes in your collection for your board books, I like the Sing Along With Me series from Noisy Crow. This one is called Pat a Cake. So it shows in very vibrant colors to sing the song Pat a Cake, Baker's Man. There's also some active movements. So there's parts of the book where you can move the pages to make images go up or down. Very colorful, very engaging, and nursery rhymes are important because nursery rhymes help build language and they hear the sounds of words. So consider adding some nursery rhyme board books into your board book collection. Okay, we're going to keep it moving and we're going to go to children's nonfiction. There is a lot, so here we go. We have another series alert, and this time it is from the History Smasher series. This is a very popular series and it's written by Kate Messner. This book covers ancient Egypt, and she has it broken down into 10 different categories, such as The Secret King, Mummies and Murders, Working on Wonders, People of the Nile. So kids can learn all about different types of facts about ancient Egypt. This book is filled with also illustrations to help move the text and show all the things that were happening during that time frame. And she also debunks different myths that have been told throughout the years. In the back of the book, I'm very impressed with Kate Messner because she has a selected bibliography. She has other books to read to consider if kids are interested in learning more about ancient Egypt. Museums, like museum websites that kids can discover and visit. This book is perfect for research This is geared for third through seventh grades. She has a space one coming out in, I believe it's July of 2026. I'm going to try to get a copy on NetGalley because I think they have it on available. But definitely grab History Smashers Ancient Egypt. We have another series alert. This is the very popular Who Would Win series. This one is Porcupine versus Penguin. And this is written by Jerry Pallotta and illustrated by Rob Bolster. This series appeals to first through third grades and has a third grade reading level. It's 32 pages, but this book is packed with facts about these nocturnal animals. And they have it's a mix of real photos and illustrations. So readers can compare and contrast the traits that make up a porcupine and a pangolin, and readers learn about each animal's anatomy, behavior, um, what they eat, and more. Which I didn't know that penguins had no teeth. I did not know that. I didn't know that penguins have no teeth. Or I didn't know that porcupines can climb trees. And the reason snakes and leopards don't eat porcupines is because their quills can kill them. At the end of the book, the kids then can compare and contrast the two animals by reading a battle. So the two animals, they battle it out to see who would win. And spoiler alert, it's the penguin. Again, this book is filled with facts, photos, realistic illustrations, and it's just fun and engaging. They have a definition of words, usually put in like a little shape and a word fact. So you can see these two images here, so you can see what kids are looking at when they read these types of books. Again, this is a very popular series, and make sure you grab Who Would Win Porcupine versus Penguin. We also have DK Ancient Rome, From Everyday Life to an Emperor's Life. This is put together by DK Publishing. This is geared for 9 to 12-year-olds. And I like DK books, and they're finally starting to come out with more updated materials. So for Ancient Rome, the sections are broken down into introducing ancient Rome, Roman society, leisure time, everyday life, Romans at war, and gods and goddesses. This is a mix of illustrations and photographs, and they show all different kinds of different things and basically how they lived, how they went to school, and it's just chocked with different facts and information. So what it was like to be an emperor, what did a soldier wear? How did they live? What did their houses look like? Um, Again, perfect for reports and just leisure reading. And this is the cool thing I also like about these books. The sidebars are short. The sidebars are short enough that kids can look at it and grasp that information. So if you need some more books about ancient Rome, this would fit the bill. And 'tis the season for cooking because I know a lot of people like to make home goods or baked goods for the holidays. I have two cookbooks on your radar. The first one is Barbie Cooking with Besties, 35 plus recipes that kids can make. This is written by Joanna Farrow. And this is a mix of photographs of Barbies and the dolls making different foods, and then the actual food item itself. Kids are introduced to Barbie and all of the Barbie dolls in Barbie world, um, but they have also measurement conversion charts for kids, kitchen safety tips. Some of the recipes that kids can make include New York style pizza bagels, Ken's pinwheels, pink quinoa salad. There's milkshakes, cookies, smoothies, a cool down smoothie, a berry cake. But these are some fun recipes. And if you have fans of Barbie or you just need more cookbooks for your library for your kids' nonfiction section, consider grabbing Barbie Cooking with Besties. There's also Rebel Girls. This is the Rebel Girls Make Dessert, and this is written by the Rebel Girls team. This received a star review in School Library Journal, And I have to tell you, when I looked at these cookbooks, I mean, just looking at the food, it makes you get hungry. Um, in this book particular, The Rebel Girls, the contents are arranged by cookies, brownies and bars, cakes and cupcakes, fruit desserts, pastries, puddings and pies, and frozen treats. It does cover kitchen basics, such as bringing eggs and milk and butter to room temperature and how to do that, how to melt butter, and how to soften cream cheese. If you need to know how to make a homemade whipped cream recipe, there's a recipe for that. This has photographs that helps tweens and it helps show tweens how to make and bake the treats. Some recipes require baking or no baking at all. There's everything from homemade Oreos and brookies to coffee crumb cake, brown butter oatmeal cookies, lemon bars, choco flan, which I was like, ooh, choco flan, crepe Suzette, root beer floats, chocolate milkshakes, confetti sheet cake, Dutch apple pie, even a vegan coconut no churn ice cream recipe. That sounds delish. The book is interspersed with profiles of women chefs, and it tells their stories and how they became chefs. There is an index in the back of the book, and I have to tell you this, just looking at these recipes, they look delectable. The other thing I need to mention also with that Barbie cookbook, the Barbie cookbook also has gluten-free and vegan recipes, and there's little symbols that indicate whether it's vegan, gluten-free, and so forth. The next book, I must have been on a food theme. It's called Milk: The Many Ways Milk is Made. This is written by Abby Starr and illustrated by Eveline Andra. And this book follows the many kinds of milk that are produced around the world. So, from familiar milk, so like, your skim milk and your whole milk, to oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk, and more. This book shows the cross cultures and highlights the way milk brings people together. So it shows you the different ways milk is made. So those pictures there, you can kind of see what the different ways milk is made and how they're produced. This is very timely because it fits with the summer reading theme. If you're planning to do it, plant a seed, read. So make sure you take a peek at Milk. All right, we're going to move to middle grade fiction, and I just have a couple books on tap for you. All right, the first book is called Outside. This is written by Jennifer L. Holm, and it received starred review in Publishers Weekly. This is a post-apocalyptic novel, and it centers on Razzie. This young girl, Razzie, has always been told, don't go outside. It is not safe. There are people and creatures out there that will harm you. The walls of the refuge will protect you from them. But Razzie's friend Ollie was curious about going outside. Sadly, it led to Ollie's death. So Razzie is trying to be on her best behavior. She's the oldest and she's the one that the younger kids look up to. And so she's trying her best not to go outside and to follow the rules. But the outside has a way of getting into the refuge. And Razzie is guided by a dog that she weirdly enough connects with. And they are starting to wondering what it's like to go beyond the walls and be outside. Um, this is definitely a suspenseful type of book. If you have fans who love apocalyptic books for middle grades, grab Outside. The next book on my list is a series alert, so get it on your cart. The next book is called The Last Kids on Earth and the Destructor's Lair. This is book 10 in the series. This is written by Max Brallier and illustrated by Douglas Holgate. In this installment, Jack and Quint are trapped in the Munster dimension. And Jack wasn't expecting to be the leader of the zombie attack or zombie, uh, I don't want to say outbreak, but just to be the leader of stopping zombies. But in this book, their mission is to prevent Reznok, the ancient destructor of worlds, from reaching Earth and annihilating civilization. So, in order for Jack and Quinn to do this, they have to have an audience with a creature that is mysterious than any other creature. And so, before they can get back home to June and Dirk, Jack is going to face a confrontation that is going to change everything. And Erica says, "Yes, Last Kids on the Earth is super popular. We can't keep it on this shelf." This book is filled with black and white illustrations. This is the chapter book, by the way. I just want to specify that. This is the chapter book, not the graphic novel. Um, but it is filled with a lot of black and white illustrations, and they're active and engaging. Uh, so make sure you have on your shelf The Last Kids on Earth and the Destructive Lair, book 10 of the series. All right, we're going to move now to graphic novels because I'm looking at the time. So here we go. And yep, a lot of kids who love Wimpy Kid will like this as well. Absolutely, Erica. We've got another series alert, and I'm so excited for this book. I was so excited to see that Tom Engelberger was coming out with another Dino Poet. I enjoyed the first one. I loved it. NetGalley has a copy of this right now, so if you want to read it right now, again, sign up on NetGalley, create an account, and then you're able to read it, and you can write a review about it. This is called Dino Poet Pen Pals. This is book 2 in the series, and this comes out March 24th of next year. In this installment, Dino Poet wants to help Frog write his first poem. But there's a problem. Frog doesn't think he's a writer. And Frog is starting to say, "Hey, well, what if my poems are bad? What if I can't come up with any ideas?" Luckily for them, they're out in the wild world again, and then the world is full of inspiration and a lot of danger. In this book, both Dino Poet and the Frog are battling uh, volcanoes and carnivores, and they meet some new poetry pals. There's two-word poems with Iguanodon. They also explore beat poetry with a Parasophilus. And then there's the, oh my goodness, if I can say this right, Archaeopteryx named Hope, who might inspire the world's first love poem. I love the illustrations because you have a mix of illustrations and it has a mix of also like real plastic toy dinosaur animals. Um, this was very fun. I love the mix of different poems. It's an easy way to approach poetry with younger children. This would be great for a poetry workshop, this book and the first book. So take a peek. Again, get on NetGalley if you can and read the second Dino Poet book. We have another series alert with Duck and Moose, Moose's Bad Hair Day. This is book 4 in the series, written and illustrated by Kirk Reedstrom. And I love these books. They're just funny. It's fresh and funny, and they're very quirky. This book has 3 short stories, but in this edition, Duck notices that Moose needs a haircut. So what does Duck do? He recommends Moose to go get a haircut at Duck's Cuts. The only problem is that when Moose does go get a haircut, the Duck cuts off his antlers, and Duck is freaking out. And so throughout the whole book, the 3 stories, Duck is trying to make sure Moose doesn't see that his antlers are cut. But it's very funny. The pictures are engaging, and Duck is just silly. He's very silly throughout the series, and Moose is kind of the more serious animal. But they have a nice balance to each other. So uh, grab Duck and Moose, Moose's Bad Hair Day. We also have a new series on tap. This is a new one from Scott Campbell. This is called Cabin Head and Tree Head. This received starred reviews in School Library Journal, Booklist, and Kirkus. With this series, kind of think of Frog and Toad meets Bill and Ted. They're just Cabin Head and Tree Head are just the 2 goofiest buddies you can see. They think differently. and they embrace their differences. They embrace how they think differently, and they just have fun together. This is a lighthearted gem, and it has six lighthearted and funny stories. My favorite stories were hiding spots. In hiding spots, Treehead is hiding from Cabin Head behind a small rock, but he can still see them because of the items on their heads. But soon, their other friends want to join in, and they want to join the fun and hide too under like near this rock. But a gust of wind knocks them from their hiding spot. The other story, Portraits, Treehead is painting, or excuse me, Treehead sees a painting that Cabin Head made. Cabin Head made a portrait of a taco because they love to eat tacos. But Treehead loved the portrait so much that he eats it by accident, and he had to be admitted to the hospital. So it's just some silly situations. The other story, Leaf Cuts, Treehead gets a bad haircut. Oh, excuse me. He calls it a leaf cut, a bad leaf cut. And he's ashamed to show off his leaf style, his hairstyle. And with the help of Cabin Head and the friendly librarian who helps them find an image to give to the hairstylist, Treehead finally gets a cool leaf cut in the shape of a heart. Again, lighthearted tales, funny, goofy. I love the clear font. I love that the stories are gentle and funny, and the use of the yellows and browns for inks and illustrations. There is going to be a book two for this series, and that's going to come out next summer. This is another new book to get on your radar. This is called Camp Munster. This is written by Kate Messner, another Kate Messner book, and illustrated by Phelan Coach. This will be released February 3rd, and this is about Tasha. Tasha's family has ran Camp Yeti. They're all Yetis. They've ran Camp Yeti for years, for generations, but there's not enough Yetis to fill the bunks at camp. So instead, the family rebrands the camp as Camp Munsters. It's a super fun summer camp for all kinds of monsters. And Tasha can't wait to show off the camp. But things get off to a rocky start. There's an ogre who's a total diva. There's a werewolf that shapeshifts and disappears when he shapeshifts into something else. And the goblins are causing a mess. And this is not what Tasha and the family were hoping for. But with a series of serious, mysterious mishaps, they are able to get Camp Munster back on track. And the crazy thing about Camp Munster is they don't allow humans. Humans are bad. But at Camp Munster, there are some humans that the Yetis and the Munsters are afraid of discovering their camp. So to save the camp, all the Munsters team up and find a way to have the humans from entering their camp. This was sweet. It's funny. There's riddles throughout the book because the cafeteria monster, she always has a riddle for each student that comes in to eat. Um, so it's very fun, very quirky, lots of fun illustrations. It's colorful, cute. Um, they kind of left it open for a sequel because there's another group of unicorn campers that are taunting this camp. So take a peek at Camp Monster. So, um, best books of the year. There are lots of best books of 2025 lists that are coming out right now. Take a peek because School Library Journal just released their best books list. It covers all categories of picture books, board books, teen fiction, nonfiction, and more. A PDF copy of that list will be available with the slides and Workday. So I wanted to make sure you got that on your list. NPR's Books We Love list just came out yesterday. There are 300 books on that list, a mix of adult, teen, and kid books. So take a peek at that list. And also Publishers Weekly's Best Books of 2025 list has some children and teen recommendations as well. So what am I reading in teen fiction? I am reading quite a bit. Um, Make Me a Monster is written by Kaylin Bayron. That received starred reviews in School Library Journal and Publishers Weekly. That book is an homage to Frankenstein. It deals with a young girl or teen girl named Mika whose family owns a mortuary business in Ithaca, New York. And after her father is kidnapped, strange things are happening. There are strangers following her. Someone is leaving mysterious items at her door, and she's noticing that the dead that come into uh, their mortuary business, they're not staying dead. So if you like creepy horror, if you like the homage to Frankenstein, this will fit the bill. The Leaving Room is a novel in verse written by Amber McBride. She is the author of Gone Wolf, and this was a National Book Award finalist, and it did receive starred reviews in School Library Journal, Shelf Awareness, Bulletin for the Center of Children's Books, Booklist, and Kirkus and PW, Publishers Weekly. This is an LGBTQ novel in verse where gospel is the keeper of a leaving room. It's a place where all young people must phase through when they die. The young are never ready to leave, and they need a moment to remember and a keeper to help them wisp their souls along. When one of the doors opens randomly and a keeper named Melody arrives, their souls become entangled. And so gospel is questioning, are keepers allowed to fall in love? And so both of them have to find a way out of the leaving room and not be unafraid of their love. In this novel, it takes place over 4 minutes. Um, so take a peek at the leaving room if you get a moment. And this book, this last book, is on my list. This is Simply More. And this is a book for anyone who's been told they're too much. This is by Cynthia Erivo. She is the actress that played Elphaba in the movie adaptation of Wicked. But I'm number 3 on the list, so I can't wait to get my hands on this. But she talks about, if you've been told that you're too much, embracing that and how do you embrace that? And she talks about her life growing up and how she's used that to move with her life. So I cannot wait to get my hands on this. And yes, let's see, let me pull this up. Pop YS Live, the next ones that are coming up. We have December Prizapalooza, December 10th from 1 to 2 p.m. That's going to be all about summer reading prizes. January 2026, Summer in the Small Library for Pop YS Live. That is a new date. I changed the old date, and this is the new date, January 21st. The reason why I changed the date is because there's another webinar from iRead on the same day, and I wanted to make sure both of you guys that both of you guys had the opportunity to go to both. So the Summer in the Small Library webinar from Pop YS Live will be January 21st from 1 to 2 p.m. I'm going to have office hours for summer reading programming and planning. Whether you're using the iRead theme or a different theme, everybody is welcome. It's just an hour, so that way you can share ideas and exchange ideas, or if you're stuck, I can be of service to help you. So they're offered December 15th, January 13th, February 6th, or sorry, February 16th on these dates and times. The registration links are on the State Library Summer Program webpage. Also, save the date because All I Reads, the author presentations webinar is going to be Tuesday, January 6th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You want to register on Workday Learning for that. You'll get to hear from all 3 All I Reads authors. And save the date because the 2026 Summer Reading Summits are coming. They're going to be held the first 2 weeks in March. I heard you. I read those. I read the survey, and a lot of people said, please don't have them in April. Move them up. So they're going to be held the first 2 weeks in March. More information is going to come out in January, so be on the lookout. And for giveaways, 5 winners from this webinar will receive a prize pack with books and bookish goodies. So make sure you put your first and last name in the chat and what library you're from. All the packs will be delivered via Iowa Shares. And congratulations to Lori from Algona, Victoria from Orange City, Katie from Wellsburg Public Library, Sherry from Carlisle Public Library, and Mandy Grimm from Columbus Junction Public Library. And don't forget, never forget how amazing you are. That's the image in the Barbie's Cooking with Besties cookbook. And with a minute to spare. Thank you guys so much. December's Check It Out will return on Tuesday, December 16th. We are moving it up because of Christmas break. So make sure you're back on December 16th from 11 a.m. to noon. And that's all I got.
Awesome. Great info, Janae, as always. Lots of fun new books everyone's going to check out. We just want to thank everyone for coming today. We will get you marked off in Workday. So make sure you look for that evaluation. And otherwise than that, have a great holiday weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Oh, and they put Happy Turkey Day. They put Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, Happy Thanksgiving. Oh,
Jenny,
let
I
me
did see Erica. She said any older ones. I think when you were the spooky book, the scary or something. What was that? Yeah.
let me see real quick. I'm gonna stop my share.
It says what age, grades, ages would you say for Make Me a Monster? Only older teens? I didn't see that. Sorry, Erica.
Yes, hang on a second. That was, I had to pull up my other notes. I know, sorry. Let me pull that up. So yes, where's Erica? Are you still there?
She
I
is.
hope she's still there. Okay. So
She's here.
yes, 9th through 12th grades. Highly recommended for that.
Perfect. And I think, yeah, that was it. So, oh, yeah, yeah, she heard
Yes.
you. Good deal.
Don't be a wuss. I love scary stuff. Don't be a wuss. It's okay.
Alrighty, everyone. Thanks again. I'm going to shut this off then. Thanks.